topic that we are talking about, a very interesting one, and in fact, the previous session talked a lot about digital technologies and how insurance companies are leveraging it, how different use cases are there, and then it becomes a logical movement forward when you move from digital to digital risk. And it's a great subject, and we'll talk about cybersecurity majorly during our conversation, but just for the audience to understand, right? The entire concept of digital risk is not just about cybersecurity, but there are other avenues around it, right? So you have a lot of data which is coming in the organization. Securing that data obviously is important. But then how do you make sense of that data? Do you have the right skill sets within the organization? When you have so much of data, can you design the right products, say, for the customers? Or can you derive the right insights so that you can take decisions, right? So having those skills and ensuring that you are making sense of it. Or even from the tech team side of things, that do you have the right people who are able to handle such data platforms? I mean, all of us are talking about AI and Gen AI and chatbots and others, but are our tech teams ready for it, right? So that's important. And lastly, or probably two more points around this, is the data privacy side of things, right? We heard in the previous panel the whole DPDP Act. So how do you ensure the privacy of data? Because that's important, because you need to take those consents and you need to secure that data. And finally, how do you ensure, if you are in a digital only ecosystem, that your operations are always up and running? The business continuity becomes equally challenging and important for the company. So that's the whole, I would say, universe of digital risk, and that's what we would talk about, but let's try and focus on the cybersecurity and other aspects. So probably, Puneet, if I could start with you. You've been in the industry for a long time. Your experience of cybersecurity, your experience of how digital risk is important in today's landscape.
Thank you for that question. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So in today's ecosystem, barring any BFSI vertical, or you can say, regardless of any domain today, digital risk is seen as the first prioritization in any landscape today, because we are more digital today. And post-COVID especially, when we talk about digital first, mobile first approach, you take the concept like, in any BFSI industry, loans or insurances, all at a, fraction of nanoseconds, the transaction takes place today. So many things goes behind to create that digital ecosystem. So for having that ecosystem, one, we need to have a competitiveness, we have to be cutting edge, then faster go to the market, then approach for the competitive landscape, how the West doing, are we first, are we, the kind of experience we are giving, is it really, in terms of first in the country? So those kind of things are taken into consideration now. So technology alone cannot build that landscape. So probably there is a lot of research which we see that we want to give a seamless experience. So we have to care and take into account that when we're giving a digital experience to our customers, either it is in the form of B2B, D2C, which is direct to customer, or B2B2C. So we have to ensure that all those risks are taking place, whether it is regard to the PII data, the data getting, basically hosted in the home country as a localization, or when we talk about cloud, whatever different OEM clouds that we are hosting, are there in the org is already there within the India ecosystem or not? All that kind of declarations today the regulator expects to be given as a part of the master direction, be it in the through RBI or multi regulatory approach, whether it is in insurance for IRDAI or it is about SEBI, RBI. All this really plays a very big thing in the ecosystem. So it's not about creating digital and getting the transaction, it is securing the customer data, it's the localization and a probably concurrence that has to be taken while creating a portfolio for our customer that probably where, you know, we do certain cold calling or we want to see a customer 360-degree approach. If that particular company or a domain-rich company is already having some other product, do we have a concurrence to do a cross-sell and upsell opportunity for that? So if we have not taken a concurrence, definitely it go in for a D&D and all that stuff. So these are certain things which talks about not only the front end, that talks about a complete 360-degree approach, that how the digital values, the risk mitigation plans or the RTPs and all are being taken care of. That is one side of technology. On the other side of the technology is the compliance readiness. Basically, the people who are going into the market, are they well aware? You know, you can find there are people who are basically, you know, the basic people who are like feet on street. What the many people are doing is that they are just they sell the data in the market. And these people, knowingly they cannot be unknowing. So that is a lack of awareness which at an environmental level we have to create. That, you know, the data sharing or selling of the data is also not easy, or buying of the data. So that is under the DPD Act as well, that, you know, a huge penalty can be imposed. So it's a cultural change for everybody, and everybody plays a very big role in this ecosystem to be created.
Right. No, thanks, Dr. Puneet. I think you touched upon various points, and I think that's the essence that we were trying to actually tell the audience, that digital risks are a lot more than the cybersecurity as well, right? So ensuring a consistent consistent customer experience, as you mentioned, across different touch points, right? Ensuring the go-to market on time, and whether the technologies are really functioning the way that they should function, the compliance readiness, the regulatory oversight which is there. So bringing it all together and ensuring that you're able to mitigate those risks, definitely it makes sense. So Kanishka, if I were to come to you from your perspective as an insurance broker, right? How do you see things evolving? What are the digital risks that you see in the ecosystem?
So as we, is the mic?
Can we have a look at the mic, please?
Yes. So as we were sitting before the session started, so it was a very relevant discussion on insurance, and I'm glad that, you know, we as a broker fraternity, you know, are getting an opportunity to talk on insurance and what coverages should be there and what limits should be there, and how we need to take the policies forward. So according to me, insurance has now become a very important risk management tool, like cybersecurity. So when we have all the cybersecurity tools in place, there is a residual risk that still remains, and that is what we are covering through insurance. And I just want to share my experience on how we started on insurance. So we started doing cyber risk insurance for companies in the year 2017. So there were a few banks whom we approached, large banks, financial institutions in the country, and, you know, we went and spoke to them on what are the cyber risks in US, in UK. And in a very candid way, you know, those organizations, the CISOs, they told us, don't give us the US story. हमें ये बताओ कि इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है? Where are the attacks? Where am I going to be impacted? How will I be impacted? What will be my loss? And what is the limit I should take? What should be the coverages? And to give a very honest answer, we were quite clueless at that point in time, because we didn't have a very well framed policy. We didn't have you know, answers to give on what should be your value at risk and why it should be like this. So we really deep dived into it then, and we made cyber as an offering. So I totally believe that, you know, cyber today is not a policy, it's a well-rounded offering. It starts from pre-risk evaluation that a lot of our friends sitting out here are doing on the security bit. It goes to value at risk. So when I say value at risk, what do we understand by value at risk? It means attaching a number to your risk. So when I tell an organization, okay, you start with a policy of 100 crores, his first question of the CEO to me was, why 100 crores? What is your underlying? And what should I go and tell my management, that why should I start this at 100 crores? Why should I get an approval for 100 and not 50 and not 25? So here it becomes very important to have a model in place which we did, and I'm sure a lot of companies now are doing. So what we did is that we took 10 parameters on the risk, and we plotted them against 4 parameters again, which was the first party risk, the third party risk, the risk of the subsidiaries, and the international exposure of organizations. That is how we gave a value to each of the risks, and we arrived at a cumulative value. And we suggested our clients that this is what we feel that in the event of a catastrophe, you could have an impact on your balance sheet. So that is how we took that step forward. Again, on the risk management side, we did a lot of activities which we are still doing. And then came the policy bit, where we designed the policy wordings not exactly as per what is happening in the country in terms of what insurers are doing. We had very detailed discussions in the Lloyd markets, and we got a wording which is customized to the Indian market wordings. So basis that, we put an insurance policy and insurance cover in place. And one of the features which I feel is very, very important right now is to have an emergency response assistance vendor on your policy, which we've seen a lot of policies in the market are completely silent on. So today, if you have an attack, say at 3 a.m. in the night, you as a CISO, do you know where do you need to go when you need to lodge a claim on your policy? I think the answer to most of them on this particular question have no answer. The reason is that our policies are absolutely silent. They have nothing in terms of who is your partner, who is going to assist you in the event of a claim. So that becomes very, very critical, and we ensure that you have a partner on board. You have a 24/7 toll-free number where you can go to, who can assist you, who can handhold you completely in the event of a claim. So this is how a well-rounded offering was built over a period of time, and it continues to evolve as we speak. So this is how we've done our entire offering on the insurance bit.
Sure, thanks Kanishka. I think you touched upon a very important topic where you said putting a score to the risk, right? And probably Arjun, I'll come to you, and that's what we were discussing outside. The entire concept of cyber risk quantification, right? How do you put that score, the parameters which come in right from the GRC controls to the technology tools that would be there. So you as a organization which is providing technology solutions to companies, how do you think you could enable this for organizations to put that cyber risk quantification?
So, I mean, quantification is very close to the insurance industry also, because as a provider of financial protection, and this applies to them also, as customers. They are also potential targets. So we are approaching the quantification of from people, process, technology. See, traditionally there's a lot of data from the SOC, which is what is being used, and there's a lot of data you take from an outside in, from the dark net. So these are some of the current approaches that are being done. We are working with IIT Kanpur to leverage, what is called NIST OSCAL, Open Security Controls Assessment Language, on how do you measure the GRC, how good or bad is the GRC compliance with respect to NIST SP 53 revision 4. So OSCAL and NIST 853 are closely aligned, but its adoption is slow. We are trying to work hand in hand, co-create it. So that thereby we are trying to measure the GRC better against multiple frameworks. Could be 27,000 to begin with, then cyber resilience, other frameworks also. So that's my answer on how we are doing the cyber risk quantification.
Right. No, thanks, Arjun, and sorry, I'm also keeping a tab on the watch over here. So, Puneet, if I were to come back to you, because when we were introduced, it was told that the risk landscape has increased because there's a lot of interconnected devices, right? So suppose a telematics device in a car which is giving you real-time feed so that the insurer could figure out what needs to be done when the policy comes for renewal. Different domains the telematics device, the vehicle, and the insurance company. Three could be governed by different regulators. Do you think the regulatory oversight has kept pace with the way technology is changing, especially when it comes to interconnected world and the world of cybersecurity as well?
Thank you for that question again. So when I say that the interconnected world, so different, you can say regulators, no, they are not connected today. Because if a master direction has come for the new readiness about the IRDA guidelines, which we talk about, which is huge, and if you can just go and see, it just talks about not only about SOX, it talks about HIPAA, it talks about, it also talks about ISO 27001, the 2005, 2013, all risk assessment, and it's a combination of everything. But as far as the other regulators are, if you call about National Housing Board, what are their master direction, SEBI master direction for the trading platforms, somehow the time has come that there should be a consolidation at a regulatory level, where companies who are operating in different domains, right, they should have one commonality to see that from where the data is coming, from where the data is going out. So when we talk about, data is the new oil, I think so that new oil is gone now. It's about the data custodians, which we talk about. Anybody who has data on their mobile or any handset, he himself is the user and he's the custodian of that data.
Right.
So while we talk about very big things in our companies, we have the endpoint security, we have everything. But on a mobile, do we really ensure that we are guarded, safeguarded on our own transactions today? Do we have, even on maybe iOS or whatever platform we are using for our mobile devices, do we really keep a basic 1,000 rupees antivirus on our handset? How many people will be keeping that safeguard? I think so we do the best of the implementation. We spend more than lakh of rupees on acquiring a new iOS 15 and all, but these basic handsets we don't do.
Right.
So first of all, how ready are you yourself for your data? Then we can talk about world. Right. So it said, so the charity begins from home. So we, as a custodian of our data, we need to see, in case our mobile is gone, so what is our readiness as a BCP? My mobile is like my walking phone today.
Absolutely.
Right? So we have everything there. We do banking transaction, everything. But when we talk about as a company as a whole in terms of the data getting coming through telematics devices, interconnected devices of IoT, we talk about policy getting insured or policy getting in a nanosecond issued, and whether basically the policy cover has come or not, and maybe within 24 hours a claim also gets raised. So all this ecosystem should have a technology which should have a commonality and have a small understanding that from where these feeds are coming. So a unique algorithm of that multi-connected devices should be able to make us understand that are our data absolutely safe or not, and are we doing probably the fraud in terms of raising the claim, is it really safe? Is it getting, only the intimation can come through different forms. There could be virtual assistants in our call centers where we talk about today omni-channel platforms and all. Is this claim that has been raised, that has got intimated and we have taken as a backend on a real time and we want to process this? Hope this is not a fraud. So many technologies, like you talk about motor claims and everything, live video streaming plays a very big role. You talk about ICR, OCR devices plays a very big role. Right. Surveyors app plays a very big role. Then a localization of garages from where that claim has got intimated. This is all about technology boom today. So when we talk about sooner the claim settlement better, but we do need to understand all these technologies are there, but where is the data going?
Correct.
So the readiness is in terms of, while we do a lot of data oiling and massaging, but the thing is that we should have a unique feature which tells us that yes, this is the right feed, this is the right copy, this is the right, this is not a fraud, this is the right claim which is getting insured. Right. So this particular thing is big time missing in any regulators today.
Right, right. Thanks, Puneet. Sorry, I mean, Kanishka and Arjun, probably 30 seconds from the two of you. So probably, Kanishka, if I have to come to you, how do you tackle the challenge of data privacy? How do you ensure consent and then security of that personal information?
So obviously with DPDP coming in, it becomes very important that the policies become robust enough to ensure if there are any liabilities coming onto organizations, they are picked up by the policies. We've seen a lot of policies in the market which do not cater to the Act right now. So obviously those amendments are required. And you know, with these sum insureds going up to almost 250 crores, we see a lot of smaller organizations, you know, where the limits only are at like, say, a 20 crore or a 25 crore. How do we, you know, get these kind of covers to smaller organizations is something that we really want to see, whether we get a standalone cover from insurance companies or how do we cater to is something that we are really looking at in terms of DPDP. However, some clients that we have, we've already got their policies maybe fine-tuned or customized to you know, respond to DPDP. So that has already been done. But right now, a lot of policies need those changes to happen, and that should happen very quickly before the entire you know, the implication comes in place.
Sure. Thanks, Kanishka. Arjun, probably another 30 seconds or so from you. Interconnected devices, data privacy, data security, all coming down to tools, and more tools, right? That seems to be the way forward. What's your view that how do we?
See, not only interconnected devices. See, because of the API economy. See, India is in the forefront of API economy, where you know, information, money, and the assets are all dynamically monitored.
Correct.
So this opens up, you know, risks from the unknown APIs. So we need to worry about that also,
sure,
as insurers, and when you give protection to other customers also.
Correct.
So not only interconnected devices, interconnected
the
ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I must say that the time has come to have an APIs marketplace where the consolidation at the regulatory level can be at the back end, seeing from where the data is getting flowed, and the open architecture for the consumption. We know which APIs to consume and which not to.
Correct. No, I think rightly said, the entire ecosystem has to work together, APIs coming in, and then obviously the security around those APIs also. So, sorry, we are up on time, but yes, I mean, if I were to kind of summarize, obviously it's a very vast topic, but yes, we all have to work together as different component parts of the ecosystem and ensure that it's a safe and a secure ecosystem for the customers, for us as enterprises, right? So all of us have to work hand in hand. So thank you so much for the insights. I think if we have time for a couple
we have
questions.
Time for a Q&A from audience. Anybody like to add on or something, you know, ask our leaders and experts are here. Anyone?
I hope lunch is sometime away. So guys,
we have time. I don't think they're hungry. Come on, anybody else? I think you have answered almost all the questions, but anyone? Yeah, over here. Can we have the mic passed on?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Taranath Modse from TANUM. I want to ask one question to Madam. You say you should make your device safe. My suggestion is that your all insurance company should approach to the government and tell manufacturer of that mobile phones, you put security aspect in that, in what I mean to say, antivirus and all, because some of the people, they don't know about all these things. And same thing I want to tell you, one insurance company, all they are sending advertise policy bazaar and all this, they make confusion to the customer. I don't know how they are safe, how they are keeping your data also safe. So you told that charity begins from home. So we have to be very careful. And my, again, one suggestion, you approach to the government on behalf of all your insurance company, tell insurance company, government, कि आप बता दीजिए कि जो मैन्युफैक्चरर है मोबाइल्स के उनमें ये फीचर्स डाल दीजिए. हम लोग रैम बढ़ा रहे, हम लोग ये बढ़ा रहे, डेटा सेट बढ़ा रहे, लेकिन हम सिक्योरिटी के बारे में कोई भी नहीं बताया जाता. आज की हमारी सिचुएशन ऐसी है सिक्योरिटी की, इसके बारे में कि हमारा पासवर्ड सबको पता होता है, तो वहाँ भी हमको अवेयरनेस लेना ज़रूरी है. और बिफोर गिविंग द पॉलिसी, आप काफ़ी जगह पे अभी जैसे आज इंश्योरेंस में मैं आया हूँ, आई एम क्वाइट अटैच विथ इंश्योरेंस लॉन्ग बैक, कि अभी ऐसे हो रहा है मैडम कि जो भी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी देती है, दिन में 25 लोग अलग अलग फ़ोन करके कस्टमर को कंफ्यूज करा देते. तो आई थिंक देयर शुड बी सम फॉर्मेट्स होना चाहिए. आप कस्टमर को कंफ्यूज मत करा दीजिए, क्योंकि कन्फर्म कर, आप एक इंश्योरेंस निकाल रही है 25 लाख की गाड़ी का, एक मुझे कह रहा है कि 20,000 रुपये में करूँगा, दूसरा थोड़ी देर में आता है 15,000 में करूँगा. दैट्स मेक वेरी गुड कन्फ्यूजन ऑन दैट. So I think we should think about all this insurance company, because forensic insurance is a very critical issue nowadays. You have got huge business also. So I think Deloitte people are there only. So they are in security, cyber security. So forensic insurance is also very much. And again I want to tell you ki we have to do the forensic awareness. Insurance company, whatever in other segment, as I am working with BFSI also, so we are doing things. So again I want to suggest you approach to the government of India and tell them about कि antivirus और काफ़ी ये छोटी सी चीज़ें हैं, वो आप उसी पे इंक्लूड कर दीजिए. हिंदुस्तान में मोबाइल लेने वाले लोग हैं, उसमें और 500 रुपये बढ़ जाएगा तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. So I think you have to think about that only. Thank you for giving opportunity.
Well, a nice and a major concern. Well, anybody else who you would like to add something on it?
No, I think a good suggestion, and see, definitely a lot of things which need to go hand in hand. But personally, if I were to talk about, I think security and privacy is a habit and a culture, right? Let's take ourselves, right? We walk into a mall, right? Someone comes and says, sir, free gift hai, aap apna iske liye register kara dijiye, and we would have given our names and phone numbers and
data, yes.
Padosi ke naam and everything goes in, because everyone loves gifts, right? So that's why I keep saying that it's a culture that we have to develop. We need to ensure that our information is safe, because tomorrow when you get a call and say, you know what, वो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ने मेरा डेटा दे दिया होगा, या वो टेलीकॉम कंपनी ने मेरा डेटा दे दिया होगा, बट वी डोंट रियलाइज दैट इट इज़ अस हु हैज़ गिवन आवर डेटा आवरसेल्व्स. And then that's where I think now the new act which has come in, the Privacy Act, DPDP, is a step towards that direction, where it's making companies accountable, and so that people over here are aware. As individuals also we are accountable. There are fines on individuals also if you violate the regulation. Right, so I think the government has taken a step in the right direction, but yes, as a country, as a community, we need to now move towards that.
That's fabulous. One just wanted to understand one thing, like DPDP Act has been just come now in 2023, but globally, what is the awareness over there? What are we missing on the forefront? What do you think? What is making us a little step, not behind them, and they are ahead of us? Something we are missing out? Anybody like to address?
I wouldn't say they are ahead of us. I would probably say that's how culturally we are. Right?
Okay.
I think probably as a population we are more warm and affable to
we are
each
like
other.
that, and probably hence we.
It's more like seat belts, okay.
Yeah.
See, we are getting used to it. We become subconscious, but it was not the case 10 years back, 15 years back.
It's an individual understanding also?
Once it becomes a regulation, you're going to be fined, it becomes like subconscious.
Correct.
Then it becomes a culture.
Correct.
Law will drive it.
Right. Okay, fabulous. What an absolutely amazing discussion, and thank you so much. Can we have a huge round of applause?